Welcome to the Fluent English DCD podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fluent English DCD podcast, where learning English is fun, easy, and practical. If this is your first time here, we're so glad to have you. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Emma. Whether you're starting out, building fluency, or mastering advanced skills, this podcast is for you. Our goal is to help you speak and understand English with confidence. We speak at a medium speed so you can follow along, and don't forget, you can adjust the playback speed to suit your learning needs.
Today, we're talking about a topic everyone encounters daily: transportation. We'll guide you through 5 common questions about transportation that you might hear in conversations, exams like IELTS or TOEIC, or casual chats with friends.
In addition, we'll share tips to help you answer naturally and confidently. At the end, we'll teach you 5 useful transportation phrases to make your English sound more fluent and engaging.
Before we dive in, let's quickly talk about the DCD Approach, a powerful way to boost your English learning.
DCD stands for daily, consistency, and discipline. Practicing daily, staying consistent, and being disciplined are the keys to steady progress and confidence.
Daily practice doesn't have to be long. Just 5 or 10 minutes a day, like listening to this podcast or reading about transportation, can make a big difference.
Consistency means sticking to small, regular habits. Like a smooth commute, steady practice builds momentum and helps you grow.
Discipline keeps you going, even when it's tough. Stay committed, and you'll reach your goals just like catching that early bus or train.
Follow the DCD approach, and you'll see real progress. Not just in your skills, but in your confidence, too.
And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes and supports us so we can bring you even more helpful content. Let's get started.
So, let's dive in. In this episode, we'll discuss 5 common questions about transportation, share tips and examples for answering them naturally, and at the end, teach you 5 useful transportation phrases that you can add to your conversations. To make this episode even more special, we've invited a guest, Lisa, a university student. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Emma and Jeff. I'm so excited to join you and share my thoughts on these topics.
That sounds great. Let's start with the first question.
Question 1. What's your favorite way to travel?
You know, I really enjoy traveling by train. It's just such a relaxing way to get around. I love being able to take in the scenery as I travel. For instance, I recently took a train ride through the countryside, and it was incredibly peaceful. The slow pace gave me time to unwind, and the views were stunning. What about you, Emma?
For me, I'd say traveling by car is my favorite. I love the freedom it gives me to stop wherever I want and explore hidden gems along the way. Last summer, I went on a road trip with some friends, and it was so much fun. We found these charming little towns, took tons of photos, and even tried some local dishes we'd never heard of before. Lisa, how do you like to travel?
I do, Lisa. Flying is great for getting to far-off destinations quickly. I love that sense of adventure when you're about to take off. But for shorter trips, I still prefer the relaxed vibe of train travel. Emma, have you ever done a cycling trip?
Oh, absolutely. For shorter trips, I really enjoy riding my bike. It's eco-friendly, keeps me active, and lets me explore at my own pace. I often cycle to nearby parks on weekends. It's such a refreshing way to spend the day. Lisa, have you tried cycling in new places?
I have, actually. When I visited Amsterdam, I rented a bike and had so much fun exploring the city. Cycling there felt so natural since the whole city is designed for it. But for regular travel, I think flying still wins for me. Jeff, have you ever done a road trip like Emma?
Oh, I have. I once drove through the mountains, and it was such a great experience. Stopping at scenic spots and enjoying the journey was just as rewarding as the destination. Emma, what do you think about train travel?
I love it, Jeff. Train journeys are so calming, and you can just sit back and enjoy the views. One day, I'd love to take a long train ride through Europe. There's something romantic about traveling that way, don't you think?
Totally agree, Emma. Sharing stories like this really shows how everyone's favorite way to travel reflects their personality.
Question 2. How do you usually get to work or school?
This is such a common question, and I think it says a lot about your daily routine. Emma, how do you usually get to work?
I usually take the bus. It's super convenient since the bus stop is just a short walk from my house. The ride takes about 20 minutes, and I like to use that time to listen to music or catch up on podcasts. What about you, Lisa? How do you get to campus?
I walk most of the time. It's such a nice way to start the day. The fresh air really helps wake me up, and I get a bit of exercise before heading into class. Plus, it's great for the environment. Jeff, do you ever walk to work?
Not usually, Lisa. My commute is a bit too far for walking, but I do love walking on weekends when I'm out exploring. My regular commute is by train, though. It's reliable and gives me time to read or listen to podcasts. Emma, do you enjoy walking when you're not taking the bus?
Definitely. On weekends, I love walking if my destination isn't too far. It's such a great way to clear my head and enjoy the outdoors. Lisa, do you ever use rideshare apps like Uber?
Oh, for sure. I mostly use them when it's late or when I have a lot to carry, like groceries. They're really convenient, but I still try to stick to walking or public transport when I can. Jeff, do you ever rely on ride shares?
Occasionally, Lisa. Usually, it's if I'm running late or if I've got something heavy to carry. But I try to stick to the train for most of my commutes. Emma, do you think buses are a reliable option?
I do, Jeff. At least in my area, the buses are usually on time and cover most places I need to go. Plus, it's such an affordable way to get around. Lisa, do you think public transport is better than driving?
Absolutely, Emma. It's cheaper, better for the environment, and saves the hassle of dealing with traffic. I think it's a no-brainer in busy cities. Jeff, what about you? Do you think trains are the best option?
I think they're one of the best, Lisa. Trains are reliable, efficient, and comfortable for longer commutes. Plus, they're a great way to avoid the stress of driving. Emma, do you think combining walking and public transport works best?
I do, Jeff. It's such a practical way to get around you, stay active, while also covering longer distances quickly. Combining the two really gives you the best of both worlds. Question 3. Have you ever experienced transportation problems? This is a great question for storytelling, which can be especially important in exams like the IELTS. Jeff, have you ever experienced transportation problems?
Yes, I have. One time, my train was delayed by 2 hours due to heavy rain. I had an important meeting scheduled, so I had to reschedule it. While it was inconvenient, I used the extra time to catch up on a book I'd been meaning to read. What about you, Emma?
I had a similar experience once. My bus broke down on the way to work, and I had to wait for the next one. Unfortunately, I ended up being late, but I used the time to catch up on emails and reorganize my schedule. Lisa, how about you? Have you ever faced transportation problems?
Oh, definitely. Once I was on my way to an exam, and the subway line I usually take was unexpectedly shut down due to a technical issue. I had to scramble to find an alternative route, and I ended up running the last few blocks to make it just in time. It was incredibly stressful, but it taught me to always check for service updates before leaving home.
That's a tough situation, Lisa. I also remember missing a flight once because I underestimated the traffic on the way to the airport. It was incredibly stressful, but it taught me a valuable lesson about planning ahead. Now, I always leave extra time when traveling.
That's a good lesson, Jeff. I also remember an adventure I had when I got lost while cycling in a new city. At first, I panicked, but a kind stranger helped me find my way back. What started as a problem turned into an opportunity to meet someone new and explore an unfamiliar area.
Those are great stories, Emma and Lisa. When answering this question, it's good to describe what happened and how you handled the situation. For example, I got stuck in traffic, so I called ahead to let people know I'd be late. Sharing lessons learned or positive outcomes makes your answer more compelling.
Question 4. Do you think public transportation is important?
This question often comes up in exams or discussions about urban life. Emma, do you think public transportation is important?
Absolutely. Public transportation plays a crucial role in reducing traffic congestion and pollution. For example, in my city, the metro system is highly efficient and allows people to commute without relying on cars. It's affordable, reliable, and helps minimize the environmental impact of transportation. Lisa, what's your take on public transportation?
I think it's incredibly important, especially for students like me. Many of us rely on buses or trains to get to campus because owning a car is too expensive. Public transportation makes education accessible for everyone, and it's often the fastest way to navigate busy cities. I also appreciate how it reduces the environmental impact, which is something I'm passionate about.
I completely agree, Lisa. Another significant benefit of public transportation is the cost savings. Owning a car can be expensive due to fuel, maintenance, and parking fees. I personally rely on buses and trains, which are much more economical. Plus, it's convenient because I don't have to worry about finding a parking spot in busy areas.
That's a good point, Jeff. Public transportation is also environmentally friendly. Fewer cars on the road mean cleaner air, reduced greenhouse gas emissions, and less noise pollution. It's a sustainable option that benefits everyone in the long term.
Exactly, Emma. In densely populated cities, public transportation is absolutely essential. Without it, people would face significant challenges commuting to work, school, or other destinations. For many, it's the only practical way to travel.
That's so true, Jeff. When answering a question like this, it's helpful to include examples and explain why public transportation is important. For instance, public transportation helps people save time and money while reducing the environmental impact. Or, it's a solution to urban challenges like traffic congestion and limited parking spaces.
Adding real-life examples makes your answer stronger. You could say, in Tokyo, the subway system allows millions of people to travel efficiently every day. Or, buses in my hometown connect even remote areas, making travel accessible for everyone.
Question 5. What's the most memorable trip you've taken? This is a fun question for sharing personal experiences. Jeff, what's the most memorable trip you've taken?
My most memorable trip was a train ride through the Swiss Alps. The scenery was absolutely stunning. Snow-capped mountains, lush valleys, and charming villages that looked like they belonged in a postcard. It was so peaceful, and I'll never forget the sense of awe I felt. Lisa, what about you? What's your most memorable trip?
My favorite trip was to Kyoto during cherry blossom season. The streets were lined with blooming trees, and the temples looked like they were straight out of a painting. I took so many photos and even got to experience a traditional tea ceremony. It was magical and unlike anything I'd experienced before.
For me, it was a road trip along the coast of California. Driving with the ocean on one side and the mountains on the other was incredible. We rolled the windows down, played music, and stopped at small towns to explore and try fresh seafood. It was such a freeing and unforgettable experience.
That sounds amazing, Emma. Another memorable trip for me was a bike tour in Amsterdam. The city is designed for cyclists, and I loved exploring the canals, parks, and charming neighborhoods. It was such a unique and enjoyable way to see the city.
That's wonderful, Jeff. One of my favorite memories is from a ferry ride in Greece. The blue waters, the islands in the distance, and the fresh sea breeze made it magical. It felt like a dream, and I'd love to experience it again.
Great stories, Emma and Lisa. When answering this question, it's a good idea to describe the destination, how you traveled, and what made the trip so special. For example, I went on a safari in Africa and saw lions in their natural habitat. Or, I took a hot air balloon ride over Cappadocia and the view was unforgettable. Adding vivid details helps paint a picture and makes your answer more engaging.
Okay, let's learn 5 useful phrases for talking about transportation.
1. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm stuck in traffic. This means you're delayed because of a traffic jam. Example. Sorry, I'll be late. I'm stuck in traffic. Or, I was stuck in traffic for an hour on my way home.
2. The train is running late. The train is running late. The train is running late. Use this to describe a delayed train. Example. I'll be there soon, but the train is running late. Or, the train is running late due to heavy rain.
3. I missed my connection. I missed my connection. I missed my connection. This is when you don't catch your next train, bus, or flight. Example. I missed my connection because my first flight was delayed. Or, I missed my connection, so I had to wait for the next bus.
4. It's rush hour. It's rush hour. It's rush hour. This refers to the busiest time for traffic, usually in the morning or evening. Example. Let's leave early to avoid rush hour. Or, it's rush hour now, so the roads will be crowded.
5. How long does it take to get there? How long does it take to get there? How long does it take to get there? This is a common question when planning a trip. Example. How long does it take to get to the airport by train? Or, do you know how long it takes to get there by bus?
Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion on transportation.
We hope you found these tips, examples, and stories useful. Today, we talked about transportation challenges, the importance of public transit, and shared some of our most memorable travel experiences. Don't forget to practice sharing your own transportation experiences to improve your conversational skills. And remember to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on our upcoming episodes.
Thank you for having me. I had a fantastic time sharing my stories and hearing yours. I hope our listeners feel inspired to reflect on their own transportation adventures.
Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.